But yeah, no, let's just get right into it. I want to talk about this Michael Jackson movie that I just saw with my family on Mother's Day. I loved it. It was a great movie. One thing you should know about me is that I am a huge Michael Jackson fan. I'm probably the biggest Michael Jackson fan in the whole world, which is saying a lot because obviously Michael Jackson had like a ton of fans, but I would honestly put myself up there with any one of them. When I was in high school, I read a Michael Jackson biography that's literally 1,000 pages and it's like that thick. Like it's a big ass book. And I read that book probably I don't know, like 5 times. Like I love that book. It's probably my favorite book of all time. And I know a lot about Michael Jackson, and I'm a big fan obviously of the music, but in a weird way, like I'm an even bigger fan of his story. It's one of the craziest stories of a human life ever. It's almost like when I'm watching the movie, it'd almost be cooler if it wasn't about somebody real. If it was like a made up story. Like this guy, he's from like a poor town in Indiana. He was like the seventh of 9 children, I believe, in Gary, Indiana. Just this poor black family. And he just had a gift. Like he was just a really good singer and dancer. And he just had this like presence on the stage that has just never been matched. Like we'll never see somebody like that again. Michael Jackson is like a true child prodigy. Like they say Mozart was similar. Like he was just like, from a young age, Mozart could, just like learn music concepts on the piano, like much quicker than your average person. And Michael Jackson's the same. I mean, hearing him sing as like a 10-year-old is just incredible. Like, but yeah, I mean, he got beat by his father at a young age, kind of beat him to greatness in a weird way. But he was in a band with his brothers and they start touring. They get signed by Motown. They do all these hits. They start off with hits. Like his first like 4 singles with the Jackson 5 all went #1. Biggest thing in the world. But he's like very charismatic on stage, but he's actually like very introverted. And I felt like the movie really kind of talked about that. He was just like, he never really had a childhood. So he's just like kind of like longing for a childhood as he gets older. And most kids, they kind of, move away from like fairy tales and stuff. But Michael Jackson like really just kind of leaned into it as he got older. And he just frankly had nobody that was like him. It was hard for him to make friends, hard for him to date, So yeah, I mean, I think the actor that played Michael Jackson, who's like related to him, he's like his nephew, Jafar Jackson. That guy did a great job. I mean, that guy got about as close to being Michael Jackson as anybody could ever ask for. Like, he did an incredible job. I think he sang on like Michael Jackson's songs. He did the dances like exactly the way that Michael Jackson used to. I mean, it's an incredible performance by the guy that played Michael Jackson. I thought the story was cool. Obviously, his life is probably the most insane story of any human that's ever lived, really. But, of course, it's a Disney version of Michael Jackson's life. Michael Jackson had a lot of controversy, especially later in life, as we all kind of know, right? I think, and I'm speaking for all the Michael Jackson fans around the world, all the real ones. I would like a movie made about his full life, including the controversy. And I'm talking, when his life fell apart. I mean, in the 90s, he was accused of child molestation twice. And it kind of like, coincides with his personality that he was, he never had a childhood, and he was hanging out with little kids, and he liked doing that. And I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying if he was guilty or not, but it's part of his story. And I'm just saying, if you're going to tell the story of Michael Jackson, I think you have to, tell those parts too. I mean, talk about his relationships, talk about how the trials just killed him. I mean, he just, it was a devastating blow for him, as one could imagine, being so, such a public figure, and, being accused of something so embarrassing. Especially if he didn't do it. I mean, imagine if he didn't do it for a second. You get accused of that. That's a tough accusation right there. But it's part of the story. And I'm just saying, if you're going to tell the story of Michael Jackson, I want the full thing, because it adds to the story. I think, it's the arc of his life. And then also, I think you got to talk about his death. I think that is an incredible part. The reaction to Michael Jackson's death is unlike anything we've ever seen. So, I think it would make for a great movie. I mean, it's so much content. But I mean, yeah, I mean, and I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. I mean, I like the songs, I like the dances, the music videos. I like his kind of weird personality. It's just so unique. And he's just like one of the most like special humans to ever live. And he's probably the most famous, like person to ever live, I would imagine. But yeah, guys, if you haven't seen that Michael Jackson movie, I mean, it's a lot of music. I mean, it's fun. I did genuinely enjoy the movie. I thought they made it great. They did talk about him getting beat as a kid, and it's kind of hard to watch, but it's part of the story. So, I enjoyed it. Slight offshoot on the Michael Jackson movie. We went and saw it at a theater, obviously. I want you guys to comment if you have an opinion on this. What do you guys think is the future of movie theaters? Because I remember I got to my seat and the chair wouldn't like recline great, and I end up like, knocking over my popcorn because I'm like fucking with the chair and stuff. And I'm just like, what would make this great if we were watching this movie at home? I mean, I don't know. Do you guys think movie theaters are like kind of on their way out? I just feel like, watching a movie at home is like so great that, going to actual theater and I got to watch it next to some stranger. I mean, I don't know. Kind of weird, but whatever. Slight side note. But yeah, guys, definitely go check out that Michael Jackson movie. It's cool. It's cool. Especially if you're a Michael Jackson fan.